Hey, what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video to talk about Saturday night's main event. Well, not much, but just really the big things that happened. Um, so there's a couple key things I want to talk about. First of all, I just want to say that ending and the way they wrote up Goldberg's career in just 1 minute, that's fucking bullshit. Okay. That was totally fucking disrespectful. I had to go on Peacock to see his little like less than 1 minute post interview that he did. And that's all they're gonna give us. Like, what the fuck kind of bullshit is that? This is his retirement, and you give him less than 1 minute to sum up a career. What kind of bullshit is that? Another thing, the match was okay. I was surprised they were able to stretch. I think that was may have been like a 14-minute match. I don't know what the official count on that is. But they stretched it out. They didn't really do that much, but they just mostly did punches and chops and holds as they were going out of the ring a couple of times. The ending was very weak. I hated the ending. It just felt very weak. Oh, his knee is injured, so we're gonna exploit that, and then couldn't pin him when he got the jackhammer, even though he knew there was no ref. And then the sleeper hold thing on Gunther doing the sleeper hold. I hated that finish. Especially since they didn't do the 1, 2, 3, hand things. They only did the one thing. Like, WWE is so inconsistent with that. It's so dumb. Like, it really is. Like, WWE needs to make up their fucking mind with this, because there's some times where they do one, hand, and then do two hands, and then they do three hands, and then they ring the bell. And, but then there are other times where they'll just do one, and then that will be the end of it. And that's what they did here. WWE is so fucking inconsistent with this. In the old days, Attitude Era, and even before that, it was always three. It was never one. Arm up, and then if the arm falls, that's the end of the match. It used to be three, not one. But now WWE is having an identity crisis, and it's either one or three. Sometimes it's one, sometimes it's three. It's fucking dumb, and I'm so sick and tired of this inconsistency that they do. And people have brought it up. I'm not the only person who brought it up. People have brought it up many times that this needs to stop, and it really does. I think it should be three. Some people use the argument, well, in MMA, that's not how they would do it. And I'm like, well, again, this isn't MMA. This is professional wrestling. So who fucking cares? These were the rules that they had established for years. This is what they should be doing. So just stick with it. But again, I didn't like that ending no matter what, because it just didn't feel right for Goldberg to go out that way. I think there was better, more creative ways they could have had Gunther win. I know he wasn't gonna give Goldberg the power bomb or whatever, but I fucking think there would have been a better creative way if you really wanted Gunther to win. I think they should have just had Goldberg go over. I thought they should have had Goldberg go over and have him have one more match against Gunther at SummerSlam. I think they should have stretched it. And especially now, since what appears to have happened in the match before this match, and that is Seth Rollins versus L.A. Knight. Yeah. So in that match, It was actually a pretty good, solid match for a while. Not gonna lie, I did like the match. I just think they really need to do something with LA Knight because again, they just feels like they're just throwing him into stuff to make fans happy and not actually have him in proper storylines. Um, they were sort of doing something with Seth Rollins' group with LA Knight, but again, there's got to be a lot more for this. He lost three straight pay-per-views. So LA Knight did go over here, but I don't exactly know if that was the plan because it appears that Seth Rollins got legitimately injured. He seems to have tweaked his knee for real, not a storyline injury. Now, some people thought this was a storyline injury because I believe they did not show the X sign. The referee did not give the X sign. But also, people were thinking that he was going to cash in on the main event. That if Goldberg had gone over, that he was going to cash in there, and that was kind of why he was doing the storyline injury. But it's not a storyline injury. It's legitimate. It's a legitimate knee injury, or at least it appears to be a legitimate knee injury. And if it wasn't a legitimate knee injury, then I don't exactly know why or what the plan is exactly then, since he didn't cash in the main event, which I didn't think he would going into this, but a lot of people speculated that. So I don't exactly know what then the plan would have been. Pretty much my line of thinking right now is that Seth probably was supposed to win this match. If this was a real injury, because the way the finish ended up happening was that after he did the second moonsault that he did one moonsault that landed, and then he went for a second moonsault, which LA Knight got out of the way, and that's when he tweaked the knee. It appears, and then of course they were looking at him for a couple of minutes. And then they just made the decision for Seth to continue, or Seth decided to continue, but then he is immediately met with the BFT, blood force trauma, and LA Knight pins him 1, 2, 3, and that's the end of it. LA Knight immediately goes out of the ring and starts to do his little taunt pose that he does on the turnbuckle, but that's it right there. So it appears to me that this was a legitimate knee injury. I don't know what they're going to do because he is the Money in the Bank winner now. Now, the Money in the Bank, you can use it up to a year, obviously. The contract you can use up to a year. So if he does have to take time off, I mean, he could still realistically have the contract while he's on the shelf, but obviously when he returns from injury, it's going to take him, he's going to have less time with the contract to cash in. But, yeah, this is a big problem because they have never had a Money in the Bank winner get injured and continue having the contract. The obviously the one instance that we can only think of is Mr. Kennedy, who had the contract and then of course lost it to Edge. He legitimately got injured, and because he got injured, that led to Edge taking the contract from him on Raw, and that wrote Kennedy off. Now, of course, as Kennedy has talked in shoot interviews before, is that the injury ended up not being as serious as WWE originally diagnosed it. So Kennedy could have come back much sooner. But obviously they needed the contract on somebody who was ready to go because they needed somebody to use it on The Undertaker, who legitimately tore his bicep and was out for 6 months and had to take time off, was out for 6 months. So this is why they had Edge beat him, and then Edge cashed in on Undertaker. So that's the closest we've had. But again, that involved someone taking the contract from somebody. Asuka took the title from Becky Lynch after Becky was pregnant, but that was more just, her awarding the title, basically. So there's never been this instance before when it comes to the contract. So I don't know what the approach will be depending on how serious the knee injury is. It could be a minor knee injury. It could be like a 2-month injury, and he might be back. And at that point, they might just have the contract still stay on him. But I don't know. This all goes back to my point of, you could have had LA Knight be Money in the Bank right now, which to me should have been the decision to begin with. But now, because obviously Triple H tries to do quote unquote long-term storytelling for most of his stuff, even though some of the decisions are pretty not so good, especially this year. This year, his decision-making has not been that great. Not saying that Triple H's decisions have been all bad, because I've liked a lot of the stuff he did the previous year, but this year has been just very questionable. But with Seth gone, I don't know what they're gonna do. I just don't know what the game plan would be at that point. Especially if the plan was for him to cash in on Cena, or Cody, because I think that's what the long game is he's gonna try to cash in on, whoever the WWE champion is. I don't think he's going for the world title. So if that's no longer in play, I don't know what they're gonna do for Seth. I don't know what they're gonna do for SummerSlam at this point. Another thing I would like to point out, because I don't think really much people are bringing this up, but Jesse the Body Ventura wasn't on commentary for a single match tonight, and I was really pissed off. He was there, he was at the beginning of the show, doing his thoughts on what was to come for all the matches, but he wasn't on commentary for a single match tonight, and that pissed me off. I wanted him to commentate on the Goldberg match, and give some insight to it, because I don't think he's ever really covered Goldberg ever in his career. Because obviously he was gone from WCW by the time Goldberg got there, and he was never around during the year that Goldberg was there for WWE. So I wanted to see what he would have done, because he clearly did some research going into this feud, based on what we've seen at the beginning of the show. Like, Jesse the Body Ventura actually takes his job seriously. He actually does research on this stuff, which is this guy hasn't been familiar with the product for years, but he knows everything of what's, he does research on what, is going on the shows, and gives his 2 cents on it. And a lot of people are speculating because of the last Saturday night's main event, where, he basically buried the cage match, of Damian Priest basically using the door to win the match, which I agree with him, by the way. I think the door thing is stupid. I've been saying this for a long time, that the cage matches should get rid of the door, because what's the point of climbing the cage if you can just fucking escape the fucking door, and plus I thought he should have pinned Drew McIntyre anyways, in that instance. I agreed with him on that, and I'm glad he told it like he is, but apparently they pulled him for that. That's what a lot of people, the fans, are speculating right now. But yeah, I'm really pissed off, and I hope we can find out what the whole bullshit about that is. Because why are you even putting him on the show if you're not going to have him commentate? That's just fucking stupid at this point. But yeah, overall, not happy with the finish of Goldberg's retirement. And most importantly, obviously, wish Seth Rollins well and a speedy recovery if this is actually legitimately a real injury. Don't know if it's kayfabe or real, but I'm always going to have the assumption that it is real until it's proven otherwise, which it might well be. But as of right now, I don't know that. So hopefully it's not serious, and I wish him well. because we obviously need CM Punk to get his comeuppance on Seth freaking Rollins. So wish him speedy recovery so we can get that Punk match that we need to get. But also, just in serious, genuine, wish him well, man. Just in case if it's legitimate. That's all I gotta say. Comment, rate, please subscribe, hit the notification bell for the latest content. Thank you. That's what, guys. I am the Ultimate Goku. I'm out of here. Peace.